There will come occasions where you do need to go shopping for this, so we wanted to do a little side tangent just to talk about the physics of this. Every fastener that you should be considering should have some kind of a rating for its own tensile strength, which is when you've got two forces pulling apart, eventually you reach a threshold and you have a failure point, and the fastener actually pulls apart, it deforms. It's actually fun testing to watch online if you can find videos of that, but there will be a tensile strength rating before a bolt pulls itself apart. And another part of this that you should be aware of in the field, if you over tighten a fastener, you're adding more and more tension. You can cause failure even with no load from gravity. So over torquing things does add tensile stress, and you can eventually reach the force where that deforms and you reach failure. Another one that we should all be familiar with is pull-out force, where you've got either a lag bolt into wood, or you've got something into a drywall anchor, something like that. And what happens here when the force increases and reaches a certain threshold, what the threads are actually grabbing into fails, and you can have the whole anchor pull out of the wall.
Yeah.
And another one that's very common is shear force, where in this case, we've got the wall pushing up and gravity pulling down, and all of that force is concentrated on this tiny little line, and you'll have a failure mode right there. And interestingly, this is actually how scissors and bolt cutters work. If you took a look at your favorite pair of wire strippers, they probably have little threaded holes around the pivot point for 632 and wall plate screws and little machine screws. If you thread it in with one hand's force, you can shear that bolt off because you're concentrating the force right on those teeny tiny little points. So be mindful of that. This is where hardened fasteners come into play, and your selections might want to err towards stronger gear. So understanding how these all interact in an actual installation is an important thing to think about. So on a mount like this, your fasteners on the bottom are going to be subjected to shear force. You're going to have the weight of the whole monitor pushing down on those points at the bottom. At the top then, you need to keep it from tipping out. Those fasteners are going to experience a little bit more pull-out force than the shear force. If you think about an articulating mount that you can pull 15, 20, 30 inches away from the wall, you've just made that an even larger lever, and you're applying more physics to that pull-out force on those top two anchor points. So something to be thinking of.